Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video today, I'm going to be discussing the books that I read in July 2018. I only read 4 books this month. I had a really slow start to my reading month. I was just having a really rough month in general due to some things that were going on in my life at that time. And the book that I was reading at the beginning of July, I was just not making great progress and I was kind of in a reading slump. But at the end of the month, I did turn that around and I did end up reading 4 books in the month of July. Those are the books that I'm going to discuss with you today in this video. The first book that I read in the month of July is a book that you may be surprised to know I haven't read until now, and that is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Now, I did read this first book in the Harry Potter series when I was much, much younger. I was probably elementary school age. It was a very, very long time ago, and I never continued on with the series due to various reasons. However, I finally decided, I really want to read this series because I think Harry Potter is just one of the most popular and most beloved book series of all time, and it's deeply ingrained in our pop culture. So I wanted to read this. I wanted to be able to be included in those discussions and have this to bond with people over. And I also just really wanted to see, what it was that made people love this series so much. And I have to say, I thought this first book was excellent. I actually liked that it was geared for a younger reader because that made it really easy for me to get through, which is what I needed at that time. Because like I said, I was in a reading slump at the beginning of this month, and this book definitely got me out of my reading slump. So, in case you've been living under a rock and you don't know what this book is about, this series follows a young boy named Harry Potter who is an orphan being raised by his horrible aunt and uncle, but then he finds out that he is actually a wizard and is spirited off to a magical school in the United Kingdom known as Hogwarts, where he learns how to use his magic, makes friends, and has to defeat a dark lord named Voldemort who actually tried to kill him when he was a child and did succeed in murdering Harry's parents. What I really like about this book is that I think the setting, the story, and the characters are super, super memorable. I can see why they resonated so strongly with millions of people around the world. I mean, not only do I like Harry a lot, but I also love his friends Ron and Hermione. I think they all just have very distinct personalities and voices, and they're characters that you're going to carry with you and that you're really going to think back on and think, man, like I really love those characters. And I just think the world is so inventive, so creative, and so fully fleshed out, even though this is only the first book. And obviously there is a lot more to learn, which I am very excited for. And I did enjoy that it was easy for me to read. It was a quick read, easy to understand, and not too long. Because like I said, that was really just what I needed this month. And so this book just really made me want to read more and got me out of that reading slump. So I'm very thankful to it for that. And I gave this book 5 stars. I think it is just really cute, really fun, really whimsical, and I'm excited to read the next book in the series. Also, if you want to watch my reading vlog that I made while I was reading Sorcerer's Stone, that is a video on my channel and I linked it in the description, so if you haven't seen my Harry Potter reading vlog and you want more details on my thoughts about this book, you can go watch that video. I would very much appreciate it. So the next book that I read in the month of July was actually a reread for me, and that book is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I read this book with my mom. It stems from the fact that when I was younger, I used to read books aloud to my mom. So now sometimes when I'm home from school, we have like a little book club where we pick a book and we read it together. My mom doesn't read a lot because, she works so much and she's so tired when she comes home. So I picked this book and I would read parts of it aloud to her so that she could listen while she was doing other things. And it was just a really fun experience for us. And I don't know, for some reason I just really like reading to people. I don't know why that's so satisfying for me, but I enjoy it for some reason, so that's what I did. So, And Then There Were None follows 10 strangers who all come to this island off the coast of England, thinking they are going there to have a nice holiday. However, they soon find out they were all lured there under false pretenses. Basically, every single one of these 10 people have committed a murder in the past or been complacent in a murder, and they have escaped justice because the law cannot touch them. So, an unknown person has lured lured them all to this island to kill them because of their past crimes. And these 10 people have to figure out who this person is that's coming after them if they want to survive. This book is actually the world's best-selling murder mystery of all time, and I think it really shows. I gave this book 5 stars, and when I first read it last year, I believe it was, it totally blew my mind. I read a lot of mysteries and thrillers, so a lot of times I guess correctly who I think the murderer is, and when I read this, the ending genuinely shocked me. It had an amazing twist. I did not see it coming at all, and this book is also just, again, another really quick read for me. When I read this book the first time, I read the whole thing in, I think, 2 days, because once I just started, I did not want to stop. I just wanted to keep going until I found out who did it, and when I got to the ending, it was so worth it. It was genuinely surprising to me, which doesn't happen all that often. And this is one of my favorite books, I think, of all time. The next book that I read in the month of July was another mystery thriller, which just totally blew my mind and exceeded my expectations, and that is Dangerous Girls by Abigail Haas. Dangerous Girls centers on our main character, Anna, who is an American girl that goes to Aruba for spring break with her boyfriend, Tate, her best friend, Elise, and their other friends. However, on this seemingly perfect vacation, Anna's best friend, Elise, is murdered, and the police think that Anna is the one who murdered Elise. So, with all this evidence stacking up against her and feeling like she's not really getting a fair trial in this strange country, Anna is reflecting back on her friendship with Elise and trying to prove that she is innocent and that she didn't really kill Elise. This book sat on my shelf for several years and I never picked it up. For some reason, it was never really speaking to me. I, for some reason, thought I wasn't going to be impressed by it or I wasn't going to like it. I don't even know why I felt that way. For some reason, I just didn't think the story was going to be all that great. It just didn't seem to excite me. And then I decided, you know, this has been here for so long. It's time I finally read this book. And when I did read it, I devoured it. I read it so quickly. I just really wanted to know who killed Elise. It was so interesting to me, and I really liked how the story had flashbacks to before Elise's death, so you can see what her friendship with Anna was really like, and how it also incorporates text messages among the friends, their police interviews and things like that, instead of just conventional chapters all the time, which I really liked. And I went the whole book having an idea in my mind of who I thought did it. And in my mind, I thought it was obvious. I think, oh, it's clearly so-and-so. It has to be, right? And then when we found out who actually did it, it was literally the last person I would have suspected. So my mind was blown. After I finished this book, I just put it down, stared at it for a couple minutes thinking, what the hell just happened? I don't know what to do now. How? I couldn't process what had just happened. It was so shocking, and I kind of want to reread this book at some point now, just to look back and see, you know, the hints that I missed, because I know there were definitely hints that I missed the first time, and I would love to reread this at some point. This was, again, a 5-star read for me. I thought it was fantastic. Absolutely recommend if you like YA mysteries. So, you may have noticed that the first 3 books I read this month, I gave all of them 5 stars. However, that trend is not going to continue with the 4th and final book that I read in July. That book was The Mystery of Hollow Places by Rebecca Podos. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to give this book 2 or 3 stars. On one hand, 2 stars sounded really low, but when I give something 3 stars, that means more so like it was okay. So I did end up giving this a 2 stars on Goodreads, because Goodreads says that 2 stars denotes it was okay, and that's how I felt about this book. But I feel like in my personal ranking, it's more like a 3. I feel like when I rank books, if it's a 1, I hated it. If it's a 2, I didn't really like it, but it had some good points. 3, it was okay. 4, really liked it, but had a couple problems. 5, I absolutely loved it, had very little problems or no problems with it. So, in a Goodreads ranking, I would give it 2 stars. In a personal ranking, I would give it 3. So we'll just say 2.5. So the Mystery of Hollow Places follows a teenage girl named Imogen. I think that's how you pronounce it, Imogen, not Imogen, because she is called Emmy, so I'm gonna say Imogen. And Imogen's father is a mystery writer who disappears one day and they have no idea where he went. However, he leaves something behind for Imogen, which makes her think that he is going in search of Imogen's long-lost mother, who she has not seen since she was a baby. So Imogen tries to follow the trail of clues her father left behind to find him, and by finding him, hopefully find her biological mother. I did think that Rebecca Podos's writing style was really great. The first line of this book, the first chapter, was a really great hook and made me want to read more of the story. I also really like that our main character, Imogen, is part Asian. I like that diversity because I personally have not read a lot of books with Asian leads, and I like that diversity. However, I just did not connect with Imogen as a main character, and I'm not even sure I liked her that much, to be honest. In this book, Imogen has really only one good friend, who is named Jessa. However, even though Jessa seems like a really good friend to her, it seems like Imogen doesn't even really like Jessa that much. She makes it very clear that the only reason her and Jessa are friends is because their parents forced them to be friends as little children, and at this point they are codependent on each other. And it seems like Imogen is just very bitter towards Jessa. She constantly mentions how beautiful Jessa is and how well off Jessa's family is and how popular Jessa is. And it just seems like she kind of resents her friend and doesn't even really like her. And it just showed a lot of insecurity in Imogen as a narrator. Like, she constantly mentions how beautiful Jessa is and how average looking she is. And when I'm reading a book that just annoys me, I hate it how YA female protagonists like have to constantly mention, oh, I'm only average looking, I'm not beautiful like her. For once, I just want a YA protagonist who's like, yeah, I'm hot, deal with it. Doesn't make me stuck up that I'm confident in myself. Like, that's what I want. I want some self-confidence and not being so bitter to other girls because you think they're better than you. It just really annoys me. I guess the author was trying to show here that Imogen never really had a strong family unit like Jessa does. And I get that. However, the fact that she constantly mentions how Jessa is so perfect and how she's jealous of her, it just got annoying after a while, and I just wanted Imogen to show a little appreciation for Jessa, who is helping her in this search for her dad, but doesn't really get any thanks or appreciation from Imogen, who's supposed to be her best friend. However, despite the bitterness that Imogen has towards Jessa, Imogen has a huge crush on Jessa's brother Chad, and Chad just seems like such a generic character. Imogen talks constantly about how hot Chad is and how nice, and he just comes off as the most boring character with no depth whatsoever. It is just a super, super cliche YA love interest. And I guess that's why Imogen is still friends with Jessa, because she wants to have an excuse to stare at Jessa's boring slice of white bread brother. And I just was not feeling it. I was not feeling the romance. I like romance when it's a good romance, and Chad was just the most generic white boy character that I have seen in a while. So, also, is there a more generic frat boy name than Chad? I rest my case. I also think that at times Imogen is unnecessarily harsh with her stepmother Lindy, who seems like she's trying to be there for Imogen, but Imogen just wants no part in it. Also, finally, for a book that has mystery in the title, I don't feel like there was a really compelling mystery here. There was nothing really surprising about it, and, you know, it just kind of fell flat for me. It was definitely a disappointing read. I did like the writer's writing style, though. I think she has talent. So if she wrote another book, I might check it out, but I was very much underwhelmed by this book. So we did end the month of July on a bit of a disappointing note. However, I did give 5 stars to 3 out of 4 books that I read this month, so overall I consider that really good, even if the last book was a little disappointing. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye! See you next time!